What is it, folks? Is it government reach, overreach? Is it deep state on full display? Take a look at this. FBI SWAT team raided and arrested a Catholic pro-life leader and father of 7 for alleged violations of the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. Let's bring in President Trump's attorney, Alina Habba. Alina, thank you for joining us. Very, very scary. This man, he gets raided. FBI came, guns blazing. His wife tells the story that they're pounding on the door until they opened up. They tried to get the kids upstairs. FBI came in with their guns out, and before they were even to show her the warrant, they took him off, carted him off. What's going on here? Help us out.
Could you imagine? I don't even know what's going on anymore. They've completely weaponized the FBI. We have them pounding onto children are in the home. I mean, tell me how that makes any sense. And then I want to understand why we're not fixing the other issues and why Hunter Biden's not being pounded down. It makes no sense to me, honestly, Eric.
So the FBI raids a pro-life leader. Meanwhile, 2020, they were rioting on the streets. They were breaking into stores, looting stores. Nothing to see here, folks, but this guy apparently goes once a week. He takes his own time from his own family, and he goes to Philadelphia and counsels young women who may be looking for an abortion and may not want to, and he helps them out. But somehow, can you help us out with this FACE Act, the Freedom of Access to Clinical Entrances law? What is it? Break it down for us.
You know what? I don't know much about it. To be honest, the reality of the situation is that it's become a very political hot topic, right? So we have people trying to push so that you basically cannot have any options in terms of abortion. And then we have the recent law that obviously changed, coming from the Supreme Court decision and SCOTUS. And that has created this political climate against women's rights to choose or the state's right to govern those choices. And without getting into, my personal beliefs on it, I think that we have to have some regulation, but we can't be targeting, which is what happened here, a target on an individual who is pro-life, who is assisting that venue of choice. And as you know, many left, not all, but many left wing Democrats are very anti-pro-choice, pro-life. It's sad. It's a really sad.
So help us out here. I carry the Constitution around. Fourth Amendment, it guards against overzealous and illegal searches and seizures. I'm just thinking of when it's someone on the right. This guy clearly wasn't violent. He wasn't going. They weren't going to need their guns out to take a man away from his wife and 7 children watching. Yet they bust in. They almost break the door down, according to her account. It harkens back to when Roger Stone had similar treatment. The guy's 70-something years old. He's got 125 SWAT agents that show up early in the dawn morning and banging on his door as well. Is there a bias, and is that something that we can call them out for? And is there anything illegal about what they're doing?
I think so. You forget the one thing about Roger Stone's story is that the CNN happened to have a leak again and was planted outside in the morning before Roger Stone's phone got raided. It's completely uncanny. We have to start fighting back. I wish I could say that I think that cleanup could start before the midterms, but I don't believe it can. I think we have to get the House and Senate back. We have to move forward in the midterm elections. That's why everybody's got to get out and vote. And then once we do that, I think the first thing we need to do is go in and clean up the FBI, the DOJ, and any government officials who are using their political stance against people who happen to be on the other side. And that goes both ways, Eric. And I always say this, I believe in the Constitution and I believe in the Fourth Amendment, which you mentioned. It's not about what side you're on. It's not about if you're a Republican or a Democrat. It's about respecting the Constitution and the rights that we're all afforded as Americans, an American issue. So I really urge people to be paying attention to the news, looking at these raids. I'm concerned that if I'm a vocal attorney for President Trump, but I'm also a vocal Republican, does that mean that my children and my home are going to get raided? I feel bad for that family that was pro-life, that that's his religious beliefs. He is obviously a spokesperson of sorts, and he is there to help and assist women who need guidance. And he is entitled to his First Amendment right and his Fourth Amendment right against illegal search and seizure.
I mean,
it's a
Alina,
frightening time in our
Alina, overreach, over exaggeration, overkill to ask to bring a guy who simply is counseling young women on whether or not to have an abortion. They need guns out for this when he's sitting at home with his family.
I mean, you would think he was providing abortions in his home illegally, the way that they behaved. If to the contrary, he's coaching women that don't want abortion or want to know what their options are and how to proceed in that way. And it's grounded in his Catholicism and in his religion. And to target these people and to say that we're not being targeted or they're not being targeted is uncanny. I'm a Catholic Arab. My family, my religion was targeted, is targeted in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And if we want our country to become like that, well, we should then just ignore what is happening. But I think everybody's eyes need to be open. I am so glad that you covered this, Eric, because it is so frightening.
We're going to stay on it.
And it's not just Trump. It's anybody with an opposing view.
We're going to stay on it. We've reached out to Mark, and he's responding. He has to lay low right now, talking to his attorney, because we want to continue this conversation. Because I don't see them banging down the doors of all the people who are threatening and just defacing counseling, pro-life counseling centers across the country, and they've been defaced all across the country. Alina Habba, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the truth. No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
Let me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.